A new Maimer, Yud Beis Tmuz, Tafshin Chav Daled. Do you have it there?
Yeah.
So the pasuk is a pasuk from Tilim. Hasam Nafsheinu בחיים. He places our souls in life, le'nosan lamoit ragleinu, and doesn't allow our feet to slip, to fall. Hine Pirush HaPasuk bezeh, the simple meaning of the pasuk is sheniach eisonu b'chaim. Hashem has placed us in life. In Yiddish, as the Rabbi said it when he said the Maimer, hat uns gelosen leben. A little bit different touch, actually. Hat uns gelosen leben. He allows us to maintain life. He keeps us alive. You say to him, moreover, the pasuk goes on to say, not only is God allowing us, describing a particular situation which was life-threatening, so God allowed us to live. Moreover, he didn't even allow that we should stumble with our feet. In Yiddish, he didn't even allow that the feet should stumble. That's the simple meaning of the pasuk. This is the simple reason. One of the Maimorim, that the one who is celebrating his redemption and Simcha today, which is the Fidik Rebbe, this is Yud Beis Tmuz. So one of the Maimorim that he said subsequently, he's talking about the year the Tafrei Tzadik Dalet 1934. This is a few years after. So it was a series of Maimorim, and one of them begins Maschem b'Pasuk Zeh, with this pasuk, because that was his story. He was facing death, and Hashem allowed him to live, and moreover, not even that his feet stumble. However, according to the simple meaning, in a move and we need to understand that the language here, Hasam Nafsheinu בחיים. He placed our soul in life. He let our souls live. It would appear that the pasuk should have said, Hasam eisonu b'chaim. He let us live. So what's the diuk here? What's the emphasis? What is being conveyed? Not by saying us, but our souls. That's question one. This is what he's asking. He's going to point out now that the Fidik Rebbe does ask this question, but in a different way. Here's how he asked the question. In that Maimer of 1934, he asks there, what does it mean that he places our souls in life? He elaborates upon our question. The soul is alive. The soul is essentially alive. Now, there's chai la'achrius, there's chai be'etzem, there's life that gives life, there's essential life he speaks about now, and then there's life that is a product of some other source that grants it. Now, he says that the soul is essentially alive. He's going to explain what that means. And he goes on to explain his question, why the pasuk says, Hasam Nafsheinu, when the soul is alive, not only is it alive, but chai be'etzem, essentially alive, which means, since the soul is essentially a living entity, any essence, its expression is the expression of it, which is also essential. Meaning, therefore, So this, let's read the words. We'll understand what he's saying. Let's get a sense of it. Hold your conclusions till he finishes. It's a good number of lines. In the nefesh shu chai be'etzem, so the soul which is essentially alive, therefore its manifestation gives life. This is the general life that the soul animates the body. It's a general period, life in essence. We're not speaking about what expression, sight, movement, particular expression or function of the life or activity of the life, but then there's essential life. And that's what the soul is, and that's what it gives to the body. The life is not a detail of the soul. Kim hu is galus nefesh. The life is the expression of the soul. It is pure energy, essential energy, sensual life that therefore gives life. It continues now. He's going to explain it. Hold. Let's just try and get it together. These till now he's quoting the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe. So since the soul is essentially alive, in the what comes from it is life. At this point, we're getting that something which is not essentially alive, but a product of something else, when it expresses itself, it's not going to give life. But something which is essentially alive, when it expresses itself, it gives life. That which is a recipient of life cannot give life. That which is essentially alive can give life. So let's see what he says. The Rebbe explains these rather cryptic words. And the explanation, it appears as this. One could think that the meaning of our pasuk Hasam B'chayim, that he places our souls in life. What does it mean? Where we're getting here, so I'm alive, but some Nafsheinu B'chayim, with praising, thanking God that he gives us a higher life force, a higher energy. There's many levels in energy in life. The Hainu meaning, what do you mean by many levels? There's many ways that life can express itself. For example, the life force in those parts of the body that life depends upon, brain, the heart, and so on, is incomparable to the life force, the animation, the life, incomparable to the quality of life that's found in the heel of the foot. It's virtually devoid of life. That's why it's called the angel of death within the person. It's a famous medrash that says that the human being is a microcosm of all of existence, the stars, the moon, and everything that exists on planet Earth and in the universe. And the Gemara, or rather the Medrash, the Avad Rabnosen, goes on to reckon all the parallel components in the human being, and even the angel of death. Where's the angel of death found in the person? His heel. Because there's almost no sensitivity, no life at all, no feeling, but it's alive. Point being, it's incomparable to the life, to the energy, to the quality of life that is expressed in the brain and the heart. So I might think, therefore, that since the different expressions of life, like the parallel of Milas, the Tzimtzum, higher revelations, lower revelations, I might think that the meaning of our pasuk and the praise here is that we are recipients of a higher form of life than we normally would get, a higher energy, a boost. He says, no, that's not the pshat. So this, the Rebbe explains, that to begin with, the starting point here is nefesh. It's not a level, but essentially alive. It's pure, raw, life unarticulated that manifests itself in all kinds of different ways in the body. But it is the highest form of life in its purest form. That's the starting point of nefesh. And then we're saying that this nefesh is placed in chaim. What is that? Yet to be seen. Already we're talking about a nefesh. This is who we are, what we contain, what we have within us. We have a life force, it itself is not limited, and it can animate any part of the body, and does. It itself is not invested by its definition at its core in any particular way. We're not just speaking about the pure soul, but elagam kasher divested of the body. Elagam kasher and nefesh baba guf machaya is a guf. Even the soul in the body still retains its essential life, giving beyond definitions, purely infinite in essence. Essence. Shezeh odik haloshen hakosav nafsheinu, our souls. We're not even speaking the soul as it is essential before it's invested in the body, which is surely unlimited. But the big news is that even as the soul is drawn into the body, it's still chai be'etzem. It's pure, unbound, unlimited life. Before it's nislabish in the various limbs and organs with its containment. The beginning is alive. In other words, a child who has not developed in any way, the quality of life. There's no intellect, there's no emotion, is just as alive as the most developed human being intellectually, physically, emotionally. Life is life. And there is no distinction whatsoever. That's the highest quality that you see really with a child, a newborn. Shinyona is a galus and nefesh. So what happens is, in the body, the nefesh is revealed. Then the soul itself is boundless energy, essentially alive. What comes from it is life-giving. He's saying here that in every detail of the body, even where manifestly there's very little life, very little sensitivity, the heel or the nails or the hair where you cut it, you don't feel pain. But be'etzem, even there, and every part of the body is the highest klali, essential life. It's not more life in essence than any other part of the body. Just like a newborn is not less alive than the most developed adult. Every part of it is loy hagbolas v'agdoras, has no limits. This is similar to the DNA is present in every detail. The entire life, the entire construct of the entire person is in every detail of the person, from a brain tissue to a swab of saliva to a hair follicle. In essence, it's life, the person's life. So it has no limits. The life that is expressed even in the details of the body. And for sure, there's no concealment. This hair is alive. It's patently, transparently alive. Now, therefore, appreciating the big shaila here. So the Rebbe asked, let's just review, get the flow. The Rebbe asked the question, Hasam Nafsheinu בחיים, he puts our soul, he lets our soul live, he lets us live. Now he says the Fidik Rebbe makes the question stronger by explaining that nefesh means chai be'etzem. Now I might think that our praise of Hashem here is that we're getting a higher form of life. No, Nafsheinu is already the highest form of life. It's not a level. Nafsheinu is already essential life, which you can't qualify more alive or less alive. Quite simply, you cannot say that any part of the body is more alive than the other in terms of life. So that's what nefesh means. So what could be added to this? What does Chaim add? That's the question the Fidik is adding. You're giving life to that which is essentially alive already. There's no more or less. This is not quantifiable to begin with. So how do you get more of something which is beyond quantity. As he said, not every part of the body is more alive, is not more alive than anything else. Its expression is more or less sophisticated, but not the essential life. So how can you add to that which is essential? So since the soul is and brings to bear to every part of the body life, which is beyond description. We just observe it, it cannot be defined. It's infinite. What are we praising? What are we thanking Hashem? What's conveyed in the pasuk? Nafsheinu בחיים. It is alive essentially. And it's infinite, so you can't add to infinite. It can't be more alive. There's no more alive, like pregnant, a little bit pregnant, not pregnant. You are or not. The growth of the fetus, yes, the expression, more alive, more expressive, more powerful, etc., more impactful. These are all the expressions of life, but there's no such thing as more life or less life. And yet we're saying, Hasam Nafsheinu בחיים. The Neighbor is adding something. And what's he adding? Life. It is. Can add to that. Question's clear? This is the Shaila that the Rebbe explains, the Shaila of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Let's see the answer. And the Maimer concludes, just elaborating, a person sleeping or awake is not less or more alive. Manifestedly, there's a huge difference, but not in essence. For that matter, a coma. This is why you can't murder a person, even in a coma. A person's just as alive as the most expressive person. So he concludes this. So what's this chayim that's being added? Mashma says, so the inference from the pasuk is, Nafsheinu b'chayim. What is, we're thanking Hashem that He placed or granted our souls life. This is higher even than essential life. What could be higher than that? Life is life. It's a miracle of life. There's no such thing as really a bigger or smaller miracle. Same idea. I mean, it's bigger small in terms of the effect. But if it's a miracle or it transcends nature, or similar, which I often say that the Eibush to create Yesh Ma'ayin, it's not a bigger feat to create a grain of sand than to create the universe. Out of nothing, they're both equally impossible. Similarly, life is life. So yet we're getting this union of Chaim. Tzorich Lahavin. So says the Frierdiker Rebbe, what is this? What is this conveyed by the word Chaim? Shem Chaim Nalim, my Chai Be'etzem. That's life even higher than essential life. That's quotations of Frierdiker Rebbe, and the Rebbe is explaining his question.
The Frierdiker Rebbe asks,
yeah. He quoted him and he explained him. That's one question. Another shaila, as he goes on to say, what is the end of the pasuk adding when it says, and didn't allow our feet to falter? Meaning, now that we've explained that the praise of Hashem, the thank you here is that our souls, which are essentially alive, have been granted Chaim, yet to be understood. What we do know now is Shem Oid Chaim Nailim Yosem Bizesh Nefesh Chai Be'etzem. Now that we've appreciated that whatever Chaim is, it's beyond life, which is already infinite. So now now we have a new question. Which you wouldn't have at the simple level of the meaning of the pasuk, which we explained at the outset of the Maimon. The question only comes now. What's the connection to the conclusion of the pasuk? You didn't allow our feet to falter. What's the foot? The leg. It's the lowest limb of the body. And it's the most distant. Am weitesten. That looks like a lashon for feeding a Rebbe. It's the most distant from those limbs where life depends upon. Again, the brain, the heart, the liver. So much so, the heel, there, the life force is very concealed. And where is it most concealed? Okay, the heel is on the foot. And that we pointed out from the Medrash is the Malach HaMavos of the person. That is where is the least revelation of life. Let's continue the question. Therefore, also the conscious faculties of the soul, meaning in brackets, like the Avariyaguf, those faculties that are revealed by the body, like in the power to move, the koyach of the nefesh, it's invested in clothes, in the leg and the foot. It is the lowest expression of the soul, movement. Animals also have movement. And it adds in brackets, and we must conclude, movement within the person, but that's the animal part of him. So we call it the animal soul. It animates, it moves. Now the question concluding, it's all explaining what's the keshet at the end of the pasuk. Nafsheinu is talking about what? The etzem achayis. This is the revelation of the essence of the soul. So the first level is the soul in the body, the second one is the soul itself. And then the third level, that we're saying, taking the nefesh, which is chai be'etzem, and we're thanking God for this level of chayim, even higher than essential life. So what's the connection with that? If you simply, you're praising God that we're getting chayim, and then you say, and our feet didn't falter. It's the lowest expression of the soul. We just finished the extremes here. And you're asking the connection. Let's finish the ois. Quoting from the Fidik Rebbe, movement. So the flow of the pasuk, we understand. Why doesn't the feet falter? Because of the connection to this level of Chaim, which is beyond the soul itself. You need Chaim for the foot not to falter. This level beyond the soul. This praise kind of life that's higher than the soul's essential, infinite life entity. So Chai Be'etzem is essentially alive. So what are we saying? What causes the foot not to falter? Not the soul, but the Chaim. It's this higher form of life yet to be explained, higher than the soul itself, higher than life as we know it, which is infinite and mysterious and not quantifiable. That's not enough to stop the foot from faltering. What stops my foot from faltering is we thank Hashem that you lifted my soul and placed it where? In this yet to be appreciated inyan of Chayim. With the two extremes. What's the connection? Right? This is a kind of a typical Chassidus, that the highest, the lowest, the essence is found dafka in the lowest level. Let's see. The Rebbe is going to open up vistas of understanding for us to appreciate this. Yeah, we're learning together, friends, so forgive me. If you've been so understand. So what's the final question? The final question is, we just explained that the pasuk Hasam Nafsheinu בחיים is a life that's beyond life. And we're saying the implication is, and only because you did that, our feet don't stumble. The feet can avoid stumbling just with life alone. That's basically the question. What does it mean to stumble? And then, as the Maimon put it, just the extremes, the extreme connection here between the beyond to the foot, stumbling in the foot, not tripping up. So let's understand it all. Yeah, we'll go further. You've been Bira Inyan, the lotion that we say in Lechadoidi, describing Friday night at Shabbos, it's Seif Masa, the final act. The Machshava Tchila was Hashem's first thought. Shabbos comes at the end of the week, but uppermost in Hashem's thought. Dihine sends us to Ayin Beis. Diya Kaloshe Machshava Tchila. Very nuanced appreciation here. The words are Machshava thought, Tchila first. Veloi, Tchila se Machshava, the first thought. The difference being, Moire Shezer Tchila, we're talking about a level that precedes Gam La Darga Yosen, that is Machshava, even the highest level of thought. When you say Tchila se Machshava, you're talking about thought, and we're identifying the first level of articulated or expressed thought. When you say Machshava Tchila, your starting point is thought at its highest level, and then you're going Tchila, that which precedes it, precedes even the thought. Haino means we're talking about a level that is beyond the first articulated thought, which he's going to explain, or desire, or wish that's expressed in thought. And it's this level that precedes the conscious first thought. The final act at the end of the project, whatever the person is embarking upon, it's the final act that touches and reaches this level that precedes even the first thought. So in action, which is far removed from thought, obviously, it's the lowest possible expression. The big news here is that Seif Maaseh Dafke, the final act, the very end of it all, the lowest level, touches this level that precedes even the first conscious articulated thought. Now, this is an extraordinary statement. It's not understood. What started this whole project that the person is embarked and is doing or building the house, whatever? So the beginning all was he thought, I want to have a house. He articulated an objective, a goal, and set about a whole elaborate process till he got there. Take years, decades, a lifetime, whatever it is. But it all starts with the articulated desire, a machshava. What does this mean? The final action precede even the first thought that created the whole objective, where the objective is expressed in the first place. How could it be higher than the first thought? What set this whole process in motion? Because I had this idea. It was in my head that I thought about. The way into the whole process of bringing it to realization. How to the final act goes even higher than that idea that started the whole thing. So this is astonishing. What does this mean? It's similar to what the Maimon speaks about. There's life, which is infinite. Then there's Chaim, even higher than life. And the foot, not stumbling, is expression of the Chaim. It's the same model, right? Which is why he's introducing this. All right, we'll continue Beis Hashem on Monday. Because you see, this is Narichus. Are we following this? Yeah? Yeah, Naftracht. I'm going to think.